So when she posted the videos about Veterans Day, I liked the videos because I thought, that's true. Good for her. She finally got something right. Let's do honor our veterans. Married to a veteran myself, I was like, for sure, let's honor our veterans. But now I think she only did that because she wanted to let everyone know that she does actually care about the veterans. And the whole Poppy thing was like, just you guys being dramatic again. You know, she always cared about veterans. And here in America, we think about that on November 11th. So there really wasn't any reason for her to like wander around all weekend with a poppy on her shirt that was hard to find anyway. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Cheer Denise. Okay. On Monday, we talked about the fact that Harry and Meghan had been invited, seemingly, to the Kardashian party of the century when Kris Jenner was turning 70. And it was a big bash and all the big celebrities came and it was a huge, huge deal. And we talked specifically about Meghan's poor wardrobe choice and what was she thinking. And we talked about how Harry was probably glad to go to something a little bit more adult than what he'd been going to, because usually it's him being featured at the pumpkin patch with the kids, or, you know, Meghan catching him as her support system in the background of an Instagram story. But it didn't always seem like he was real thrilled about any of it, especially since he had most recently been used at the Dodgers game for a date night, and then all the world descended on him for not supporting the Canadian Blue Jays. So he felt maligned and put upon, and then finally he gets to go to a big kid event. But even there, he cannot run from the pall that is his wife. He goes to the event, and he wears his requisite Remembrance weekend poppy. But no poppy was found on Meghan's dress. You guys, I don't feel like we can talk enough about what a bad choice that outfit was. The shirt, the skirt, the lack of meaningful accessories, the ugly bag. It just felt to me, and I said this to my sisters in the sister text, I said, this feels like immature me at a point when I didn't really have a full fleshed out idea of what my fashion style was. But I knew in my mind I wanted to go for something classy, so I thought, oh, black turtleneck. That's classy, right? Because the whole thing feels like something that you would wear thinking at the house that you looked good, but then when you got out to the party, you realized I don't look real good. In fact, I look pretty thrown together, and this turtleneck is too tight and too small from being washed too many times. And the two blacks or the navy blue or whatever I've chosen to pair with this skirt is just way off. The whole outfit gave country mouse in the big city. And I just wished, for her sake, that if she's going to be invited to a party at this magnitude, that somebody would have put her in a gown or something. A shirt and skirt combo is just not where it's at. Kim Kardashian, who walked around all night with her hand over her stomach for some bizarre reason, was, I suppose, in a shirt and skirt combo, but it seemed like a more elegant version of that. So a two-piece doesn't necessarily have to be a bad option, but just not the way Meghan wore it. And I just wish that somebody would help her contour her body. I feel like something's going on where she might be having health problems, because I just feel like she's looked bloated lately. And I know we're not supposed to go after people's bodies or anything like that. I'm just trying to figure out what is happening here. Like, maybe it's beyond her control. When she was jumping up and down celebrating about the LA Dodgers with her friend after Harry had turned his back on her and would not celebrate with her, she's jumping up and down and we can see her stomach. And yet, look, God forbid anyone see me jump up and down with my stomach out. But it just isn't a video I would post, honestly, if I were in her shoes. And then we see her in this outfit and she just looks puffy. And so I'm like, well, maybe something's going on. Like, maybe there is like an actual reason why this wasn't flattering beyond the fact that it's just an ugly outfit. Like, maybe physically she's not feeling the best she's ever felt. You know, maybe some gastrointestinal something, you know, maybe she's just feeling gassy. I don't know. But this wasn't the outfit. This wasn't the look. But we've covered that. The latest news about this whole thing is that suspiciously, hours after posting these pictures, the Kardashians, to the last, pulled all the pictures of Harry and Meghan that they had previously posted to their Instagram. That's weird. And that's been the question on everybody's mind. Why would the Kardashians do that? Now, a rumor went around that Harry and Meghan had crashed the party, but I kind of feel like it would have been hard to crash a party like that when everyone was seemingly invited. So, I don't know. Earlier in that evening, she had been at an event with Serena Williams for Baby to Baby, which was something that Serena Williams was putting on some kind of gala for. So they had been to that, which makes sense why her outfit was more low-key, because for an event like that, you would have had a different outfit. But how wild is it that you would be the sort of person who gets invited to a Serena Williams gala earlier in the evening, and then you're getting invited over to the 70th birthday party of Kris Kardashian Jenner, and everybody in Hollywood is invited, and you wouldn't have a wardrobe change in mind. Or you wouldn't find something that would be more appropriate for both things. Even so, though, you look at the pictures of Serena Williams at that same event, and she's decked out. Her outfit would have been appropriate for both things. So I just think that Meghan didn't have a clue as to what to wear to something like this. It's hard for me to buy the idea that they crashed the event. I haven't seen hard evidence of that. I haven't heard anybody say that that's actually what happened. I've heard that's the rumor. But I just think that that fits so seamlessly into everybody's impression of them as these two losers who are always trying to climb the social ladder and, trying to slip under the gate of this well-attended event. But it just seems to me that the Kardashians wouldn't be opposed to having Harry and Meghan there. I mean, I'm not saying that that would be like the top name on the list. I just don't think the Kardashians of all people would look over at Harry and Meghan as lesser than them, if they're honest with themselves. And I do think they seem to be pretty aware of themselves. I mean, in the context of where they fall on the fame hierarchy. They know they're very famous, but I think that they are well aware of the fact that they don't have a traditional skill set. So I don't think that they would malign a Harry and Meghan, and I don't think that they would be against having British royalty at their mom's birthday party, especially since the theme of the party was 007. Why can't we have a couple of the British elites come on over? Not Meghan, but her husband. So that begs the question, why then did they delete the photos? If Harry and Meghan came to the event, and then they were there erroneously and had crashed the event, why would the Kardashians feel that it was incumbent upon them to delete them from the pictures? Their pictures are out there everywhere. Why would they feel that they had to take them off of their own personal feeds when that doesn't negate the reality that they did attend and everyone knows it? It's not like you can clean up reality. It's not like you can rewrite history by deleting a couple of pictures on your personal page when the pictures still live everywhere else. It would feel to me like they did that because they were asked to do that. For a family that has lived on the attention that is generated by paparazzi and media, why would they ever tinker with their page when the very story is about people who showed up at their party uninvited? If the event was not ruined by those people, wouldn't you want to keep the evidence and the story alive in your own stories? It just seems to me that if I was a Kardashian, there'd be no reason for me to take that down unless I needed to scratch somebody else's back. Otherwise, let the story live. That's how I make my bread and butter. So the other story that's been floating around is that Harry showed up wearing the poppy on his suit. But Meghan, who, because she's married to a prince and should still be cognizant of these certain etiquettes, neglected to wear a poppy. Yet her husband is a veteran. So you'd think that just even out of support for him, she would do what is customary in his culture and wear the poppy. But moreover, she's married to a prince who still retains his title and who still carries the vestige of this specific weekend. And the way his family has always commemorated those events is to wear the poppy. Well, Meghan didn't do it because she said that those poppies are really hard to find. It's not like they're everywhere. Meghan, then how come he has one? And it seems to me that if poppies are so hard to find, then you should get some excellent artificial ones and just have them handy since you have to wear them all the time. And she's managed to find them in the past. So I'm confused why he could find one, but she couldn't find one. And a while back she could, but now she can't. I mean, this is just a person who doesn't give two flips about it. Well, on Veterans Day, November 11th, she did post to her Instagram stories and to her feed about how, let's remember our veterans, and posting videos of Harry, very theatrical ones of Harry when he was in Afghanistan. And I, not realizing at the time when I saw this that there was some kerfuffle in the media about the fact that she hadn't worn the poppy. I noticed Harry did, but I just thought that was because he's Harry. I didn't even think about how it was Remembrance Day weekend in England. And So when she posted the videos about Veterans Day, I liked the videos because I thought, that's true. Good for her. She finally got something right. Let's do honor our veterans. Married to a veteran myself, I was like, for sure, let's honor our veterans. But now I think she only did that because she wanted to let everyone know that she does actually care about the veterans. And the whole Poppy thing was like, just you guys being dramatic again. You know, she always cared about veterans. And here in America, we think about that on November 11th. So there really wasn't any reason for her to like wander around all weekend with a poppy on her shirt that was hard to find anyway. So I just feel like she posted about it, not necessarily because she cares so much about the veterans, but because it was a clapback to the people who criticized her for not caring about them over the weekend. But to me, well, I would expect any wife to commemorate her husband specifically for his service if he was a veteran, and you're talking about honoring veterans. To me, the video clip that she showed of Harry in the middle of an interview jumping up to run off because he heard some action and needed to join his comrades, I wouldn't have posted that. That feels a little theatrical, a little bit, even if it was accurate to what actually happened. Just seeing the prince there all like taped up and ready for an interview and then like having to pull off wires and like run off, it feels staged even if it wasn't. I just think that if I were in her same shoes, just to avoid the criticism of what clearly looks like a staged scenario, I would have probably just, posted some pictures of him in his uniform, him flying his helicopter, whatever it is that she wants to commemorate, but I don't think I would have used that particular bit of footage. She has this weird idea that his past is as theatrical as hers, and maybe it was. You get a variety of different stories about how Harry actually was in Afghanistan. But just because she was an actress in her former life doesn't necessarily mean he is. But these are the pictures she posts of him in this imaginary world that she thinks of him as living in. And it bothers me because it makes me feel like she doesn't take seriously what he did, which makes it feel like I don't have to take him seriously either if his own wife doesn't. But I just feel like this picture of him with all of his hair coming out of this helicopter, we've already talked about how AI this is. But then also this video of, duty calls. I have problems with that too. Anyway, Harry and Meghan can't seem to put a foot right. So I don't buy the idea that the Kardashians took the pictures down because they were upset there were some people who crashed their party. But I do buy the idea that potentially Harry and Meghan asked her to take the pictures down because they received so much heat for not honoring Remembrance Day weekend in a more sober fashion, not attending a huge Hollywood event, and then Meghan neglecting to wear the requisite poppy. It's such a negative reflection on the Sussexes. And also, Meghan doesn't look good in any of these pictures. Show me one picture where Meghan looked beautiful. I don't know what she was thinking. If she has a stylist, that's the next person she should fire. Because this person does not care about the way Meghan comes out looking. But what do you guys think? Do you think that they really crashed the party? Or do you think that they asked for the pictures to be taken down because of the blowback? I think it's because of the blowback. That just makes way more sense to me, especially because it's the Kardashians. I think if it had been anybody else, somebody a little higher on the totem pole, if it had been somebody else, I could imagine that they were so disgusted that people they didn't invite came that they might delete the pictures, even if those pictures lived on in other places. But the Kardashians are too media savvy to delete the very cause of the story. No, they didn't do it. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I wanted to do this video before tomorrow just because there's tons of stuff I want to talk about tomorrow, and I didn't want to spend the whole time on just Harry and Meghan when we have so many other stories to talk about, and some of them are going to require a good bit of our time. So thanks again for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!